There had been many revolutions throughout the 20th century. The Young Turk Revolution in 1908, the many Chinese revolutions, one of the most known being the Chinese Communist Revolution from 1945 to 1950, the Iranian Revolution from 1978 to 1979, and many others. However, the revolution I would like to witness is the Russian October Revolution of 1917. First, let's look at the definition of the word revolution. It is a forcible overthrow of a government or social order in favor of a new system. The Russian Revolution of 1917 consisted of two revolutions. First, in February, overthrew the imperial government, and the second in October placed the Bolsheviks in power. The Bolsheviks, founded by Vladimir Lenin, were by 1905 a major political organization advocating immediate and forceful seizure of power by the proletariat. Proletariat is the lowest social or economic class of industrial workers who lack their own means of production. I would like to have witnessed this major event in history because there are many controversies that exist around the causes and sponsoring of it. Today, different historians say different things. The views in the West are different from the ones in the East. Andrei Fursov is a well-credited Russian historian, sociologist, writer, and organizer of science. He states that the task of the revolutions and world wars was to annihilate the four major empires at the time: the German, Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, and Russian. The imperial principle contradicted the concept of globalization. In order to ease the process of world trade between countries, empires and nation-states had to be subsetted by single zones under the principle of capitalism. The Russian Revolution was supposed to break one capitalist system and replace it with another. However, the revolutionaries instead used it in their own interests to change the system completely. As a result of the February Revolution, power was taken away from the Tsar, abolishing autocracy, and captured by the bourgeois democratic provincial government. Bourgeois are the people belonging to an upper middle class. Then, as a result of the October Revolution, the provincial government was overthrown by the Bolsheviks.
The first reason for this revolution is that the quality of life as we peasants have in this country under the Tsar regime is disgusting. We are the people most unsatisfied with the system, and yet we are the ones who are poor and don't have anything. Statistics say that last year in 1916, a full 3/4 of the Russian population is comprised of peasants who live on farms and in small towns. Technological progress is necessary for the better quality production. However, this is impossible due to mass illiteracy of peasants and the lack of capital. Around 50% of our communities have members who leave the village to find other work, often in bigger towns and cities. Small farms that were issued by the government after the abolishment of the serfdom are now in debt due to the money we have to give back to the government in return for this privilege. We need change.
My husband is one of the 15 million men sent to fight, and now I'm left alone with 3 small children who are starving due to the silly war. The trains are currently used for army mobilization. I can't afford to feed them. The prices have risen too high. Cease this useless war and return me the breadwinner of our family.
When the Industrial Revolution came to us largely in 1890s with ironworks, factories, and associated elements of industrial society, I was one of the many who moved to a big city like Petrograd for more job opportunities in order to be able to feed my family back home. However, with more people like me coming to the villages, the cities are becoming cramped and quality of housing is poor. Our rights are not protected in the workplace, and our wages are unjustly small. We want more say and more rights in the workplace.
"4 years ago, we witnessed the Romanov family for the 3rd century. Our current Tsar Nicholas II seems disinterested and lacks any idea or ability to run an autocracy properly, and is poorly educated in the nature of Russia. The Tsar left the central power to command the army, which is why our army is losing the battles. He has left his wife, the Tsarina, to rule. However, we can't trust her due to her German descent. I'm sure she is working with the Germans to help them defeat us."
That day, soldiers and workers stormed the Winter Palace, which used to be the main residence of the Russian Tsar, and renounced the provisional government, as it had not satisfied them. Vladimir Lenin, Bolshevik leader of the proletariat, was in the streets and barracks directing the revolutionary forces. On October 25th, Lenin published several texts. In these texts, he encouraged the Russian people, talked about the new administrative apparatus, victory of socialism, urging an immediate end to the war, workers' control over production, and more. In conclusion, the revolution brought with it many positive changes, helped build a strong country with people of different social statuses and nationalities equal and living together in respect. However, the price the Russian nation had to pay for this new life was too expensive. This could be a new lesson, that the best changes in our societies occur when we take out the R from our revolutions.